Ah.
Bole Baba Ki Jai.
Jai.
Wonderful.
Rambarosi is still muted.
Okay. Rambrosi, when you get it figured out, you can unmute yourself, baby sweetheart. Okay. So welcome to today's Satsang at the Hedekand Universal Ashram. And we're so pleased to be highlighting the German ashram and all the wonderful people that are there. Some of them we know, some are new, and we're so happy. So I'm going to turn it over to the first three of you. And I'd like just to know, maybe Neelam, if you're up to it, would you begin us with, how did you come on this path?
Okay. Wie bist du, sie hat jetzt gerade gefragt, wie bist du auf diesen Pfad gekommen? Oh Gott. Sagt Swati, hat sie mir geschrieben und dabei sagte ich, nach deiner Schwester zu kommen. Okay. Das war, okay. Ne? Babaji told Saraswati to tell her to come. Also ich sollte kommen, ne? Her to, Neelam should come. Ne? Yeah. Yeah. So Babaji told Saraswati to tell her sister to come. Ordered her to come.
Right, right. And what was it like, Neelam, to be in Harakan with Babaji?
Und wie war es für dich, da zu sein mit Babaji? Super. Super! Kann man nicht erklären, was war. Yeah, you cannot explain, she says. Yeah. Yes.
Yes. Many of us sitting here have had times in Harakan with you, Neelam, and it's very special to see you again. So.
Also es ist sehr spezial, dich wiederzusehen. Ich freue mich sehr, dich wiederzusehen. Yeah, she very much enjoys to see you too, and to see you all, but to see you especially, Ramloti. Yeah. Yes. You're very small, so it's a little challenging for her to see.
I'm sorry, I don't understand you, so I have to communicate with.
She doesn't understand. Danke, Jonathan, wir haben es selber rausgefunden. Dankeschön. Willst du dazukommen? So,
no problem.
And I would like to introduce, for you, Ramloti, you don't know him. This is Isha Chand, our Pujari. How long have you been here?
Now since 2009, I'm in Reiferath.
Wonderful.
He's really the center and holding everything up and doing everything right now. So we are very, very blessed to have him. Yeah.
Maybe Pujari. Can I call you just Pujari?
Yes, no problem.
Well, there's another Pujari on the line, of course, our Pujari from Holland, Pujari, but I'm just not so good with names. But Pujari, maybe you could reach into your heart for a moment and just tell us how you were touched by Babaji and what's inspiring you to be here at Reiferath so steadily. And
I was traveling through India, and actually for 1 year I wanted to see India, and I met one American woman in Nepal, and she told me about Herakan and this ashram. And I was practicing Kriya Yoga before already, so I knew already a little bit about Babaji. And it sounded very interesting for me to what she said, that that Babaji was alive in the period of 70 and till 84. So I had the feeling I should go and see this place. So I went there, I fall in love and stayed there for some time. And then after some years, Muniraji asked me if I can imagine that I go to the German ashram, because they have nobody there who is doing the ceremonies. So in the beginning, I didn't want straight away, but then he don't stop asking me, and then I had the feeling, okay, maybe it's good for me to go there. So yeah, I told him I will try, and I love it to be here. It's a very peaceful place in the nature. It's a little bit like Herakan, also Muniraji said. It's a beautiful place.
Nice, thank you.
And Saraswati told me today, and she said it before, that Babaji told her, you make your own ashram. And then she was looking around, looking for places, and then she found this place. And it's a tiny little village. And she found out through Peter Dawkins, I don't know if you guys know Peter Dawkins, that this place is situated at the bottom of a chalice of hills. I mean, huge chalice of hills in Germany, you know, in this region here. And so the energy that is being created here through all these pujas and fire ceremonies, etc., is traveling everywhere. So it's reaching out everywhere. So it's a very special place. Yeah.
So Sarah Dembe,
Yes.
how did you get captured?
Oh.
Ramaloti Saraswati told me to give the love to everybody.
Oh. Please give our love back to her from everybody. So many. It's so wonderful that touches my heart that she's there and you're all around her, and she's, you know, now just getting to bathe in the love that she created and the practice and the strength of Babaji there. So it's so wonderful, and so wonderful to see you, Neelam. Thank you.
Sie sagt, dass es so wunderbar ist, dass sie noch da ist und in der Liebe baden kann, die sie selber kreiert hat. Und es ist so wunderbar, dass sie da ist. Yeah, it's true. And I mean, it's really amazing. Saraswati is still working, for example, with me and with other people I know too, who are visiting. So she didn't stop working with, you know, with your issues, with your whatever is going on, and Neelam is taking care of her sister. And it's amazing. Neelam is, may I say, 83, and she has so much energy. It's absolutely astonishing. So yeah, it's Babaji's grace.
It is Babaji.
Ja. Oh, du hast mir doch mal erzählt, wie viel Energie hast du. Ach, ja. Nein, das ist nicht gut. Ja. Ja. Was soll ich das sagen? Okay. She once told me. Ja, ist einfach, wenn du mit ihm verbunden bist und offen bist und keine Widerstände, also keine Widerstände zu haben, und dann geht das. She said, I asked her, she once told me, I asked Neelam, how come that you have so much energy? I mean, sometimes she has double the energy of me, really. Sometimes she's so filled with energy. And so I asked her, and she just said, well, it's Babaji's grace, but it's also not having any resistance, not having any, just really being open for anything that comes. Yeah. No resistance. That's the secret.
Good.
Was sagst du? Ich habe gesagt, kein Widerstand. Das ist das Geheimnis. Ja? Stimmt das? Ja. Yes.
And Sarah Delvin.
Yes. I first wanted to say a little bit about Reiferath, because that's actually the first time I counted. Reiferath is a tiny little round village, and plus minus 15 houses in a circle. It's a circle village, and 8 of these houses belong to Babaji devotees.
Wow.
And there are also farmers and normal citizens, and over, I don't know, 40 years, I think that's they, since 78, they really all grew together. And then there is the upper part, so I call this Reiferath city here, you know, these 15 houses, so 16 houses. And I'm not quite sure. And there's an upper part, and there are 3 or 4 more devotees. We also have two Sai Baba, two Sai Baba, one couple, and Sarah is ja auch Sai Baba. Yeah, so we are multi-Guruji here. Yes.
So when did you first hear about Babaji Saradambe? I'm not going to let this one go.
In a dream. At first, I was in the beginning of my spiritual path. I was called by Sai Baba. I visited Sai Baba, and I stayed there for a while, and then I had a dream in which Sai Baba changed himself into Babaji. And I didn't quite understand. And then Sai Baba sent me to Amaji, where I stayed quite a while. And when I was ready to become a nun at Amaji's place, Muniraji called me in a dream to come first to Herakam. And I had already everything given up. Everything was ready. I was ready to become a nun. I didn't have any possessions anymore. And then I said, okay, then I go to the Himalayas to spend some time, like a vacation before I start the hard life as a nun at Amaji's place. And when I came there, it just shocked me, and I felt at home, and I was completely confused. And it took a long time. But Muniraji was very sweet with me, but I just felt this is my path. And then I understood that Muniraji told me that Babaji had always been with me, and I understood the different experiences I had in my life, that this really had been Babaji. But that's a long story. I had a very long healing journey. I experienced a deep trauma, and all the healing occurrences, all the healing experiences with 2 or 3 years apart were connected to Babaji, and I didn't know that. And then I had dreams of Babaji, and I slowly understood, okay, this is my path. It's Babaji. And then I was sent to America, and you know about that, etc., etc. So I have Babaji for me is not so much a form, but an experience of consciousness. For example, in my at Shivaratri, now some weeks ago, I had a very deep experience, which for me was an experience of Shiva. And it was an experience of just beautiful beingness, just a conscious beingness. And within this beingness, everything was just love. And words are not really able to explain this. I cannot really explain this in words, but this was this Shivaratri. And so these experiences of Babaji or Shiva, I had also some of them when I was with Muniraji. So it's more formless experience of this beautiful being. And I recently spoke to Urmila, and I asked Urmila about her experience with Babaji, and she had a very beautiful description because Urmila met him actually.
Did she want to talk? Also, she can share if she'd rather.
Would you like, Urmila?
I just need to.
Is there
this
a way to highlight her?
I think I should just go on, Sadambe. I will talk maybe later. Okay?
okay? Thank you.
Okay.
We could, yeah, she could talk, and Rambrosi can also once you're complete, Sardambe.
I think one thing that is that Saraswati taught me in the very beginning is she once told me about an experience with Babaji she had, in which she was posed in front of a rock, and along this rock was water running down, just little water running down, and he made her stand there and observe this water a long, long, long time, just standing there, just observing. And she said this observation, with this, he first of all grounded her because she was not very grounded at that time. And, you know, she told me how important it is to be grounded when you go on a spiritual path. And Muniraji always was very made sure I always had the ground, and there I have a very beautiful story with him. And the second thing is that she explained to me this is the way how you work with your own issues. So when you have certain emotional structures, or when you have certain thought structures that are in the way of consciousness, that these you just have to sit there and to observe them, and with this already consciousness is in place. So, and consciousness will transform the things, and this is the work she has been doing with me, and this work I then in California, I learned furthermore through Diamond Heart and other practices to develop this furthermore. But this very simple way of bringing consciousness into all these thought and emotional patterns we have, this is something that Saraswati really taught me. And with Muniraji, I had an experience during the big Kumbh Mela of grounding, actually, when I suddenly had to give him prasad that he then gave to people, which normally Raghuvir does, or Pujari, or whoever, and suddenly I was there, and I saw that I had to be very precise to meet his movement of hand with my movement. It had to be you really had to be very present and precise to be in this dance with Muniraji giving out prasad. And at the same time, I was transported into a realm of, I was in a different, I felt there are masters and beings, and I was in a different realm of consciousness. But at the same time, I had to be precisely on this earth, and be absolutely present with what is. This is one of my biggest teachings that Muniraji gave me. One of them. There were many more. Yeah. So.
Thank you, Sardambe.
And there are so many. I mean, so many miracles, so many teachings.
I think these will all keep popping up, and that's the beauty of Satsang. So let's move to Rambrosi. Rambrosi, can you unmute yourself, honey? Do you know how to unmute? There must be a little red button somewhere on your phone.
Okay, now
Got it.
now you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi.
A little bit wrong.
Hi, Kaya. Gayatri, hi. Oh, hi all together. I'm so happy that I can be here. And I'm really excited. I didn't think it would be so exciting. Okay. What can I tell you? I mean, I am a newcomer. Somehow I always felt somebody very who didn't know anything of anything. Spirituality for me was something very, very far away. Nothing. I didn't know anything about. And I mean, my story, how I came to Babaji, is really very simple in the end. I got the book of Malti from somebody, which I read. I was interested, but it was not that I was somehow touched very much. It was just like this. In this time, I was with Rajneesh Osho, because I am a psychologist and I like this mode of psychology, and because God, for me, this was a very strange thing, so I couldn't take this. And at the same time, when I got this book from Babaji, from Malti, I met a very dear friend of Karku, whose name was Tilo, and we had a very straight connection for a long time, and we talked about everything, you know, also spirituality and all that stuff. And he wanted to go to Herakan. I wanted to go to Pune, to be a year in Pune and to learn all these psychological courses which they gave in Pune. And when I quit my work and went to the airport, I knew that I wanted to go first to Babaji and to have a look. And so when I arrived at Bombay, I left my luggage, everything there, and I flew to Delhi. And from Delhi, I took the bus and I arrived at Haldwani and went to the Kailash Hotel. It was August 79. And the same evening, Karku came down from Herakan. So we met and we talked a lot, you know. He told me a lot of things about Babaji, also things which I was quite unsure if I would like it, you know, some. And when he had to go away, and so I had to wait for the next day to go through the mountains to Herakan. And I knew somehow that I should have a look at this mantra. I didn't know what it was really. I didn't know what it should mean. I took the book from Malti and I stood there the whole night repeating Om Namah Shivaya, and it was very difficult for me to learn it. I always had to remember to look, to correct myself. And I did all night this mantra. And I couldn't sleep. It was just like I had to do this thing. And then the next day we went with another girl, we went to Herakan over the mountains. It was beautiful. And when I arrived at Herakan, I had my menstruation. So there was no way to go to Babaji. And Gora told me that I should stay at least 3 days out. And I was looking from the roof of Gora's house and saw Babaji there somewhere. And I thought, would he be really, is he really God? You know, I was just like very confused. And we slept on the roof of the house because it was quite hot. And then, let's say, the first miracle happened that when we were sleeping at a certain time, I heard the mantra inside. And it just moved me I heard this mantra and it was all over the body. And it lasted for 3 days and for 3 nights. I was just like, everything was the mantra. It was sort of, I don't know, it was exceptional. And I didn't know how it happened and why it happened. But anyway, it was like this. And then after 3 days, it stopped. it went away. And I knew that this is always my center, would be always my center. And Babaji, many times he showed me that the mantra for me is the most important thing. It's more important to be in the mantra than to be with him in person, in his personal form. And also I had a lot of dreams, but mostly with the mantra. So it was very special for me, and it's since now a very important thing for me, yes, to have this mantra and to deepen it more and more. And then I had one dream in the first days, also the only dream which I had from Babaji, which was really very strong, very special, and I felt really it was like something from a different level who came to me. And it was Babaji, and he was standing on the planet Earth, his feet on the planet Earth. He had a blue dress, and he was immense. It was incredible, immense, because there was also the universe there. And he took the sun and he threw it in the ocean. And then he took the moon and he threw it in the ocean. And this was 2 times the same picture. And it was an incredible power in this picture, in this dream, nothing else. But this was really, it went through my body. It was like, ah, I couldn't explain. Since now I have no real explanation. I only knew that it was an extremely strong experience and very, very, very powerful. And then, you know, I met Babaji in his body. This was not so nice because I was very confused, and he was just looking around. He didn't really react on myself as a person. And I had to work a lot to be present and to realize a little bit what it means to be an Arahant. So this is one of my experiences I had, and it's still, when I remember, it's very strong, very, very strong. Yeah, I think this is enough for now.
Thank you, Ambrosi. That's beautiful. And maybe as we talk more with the other members of the Reiferath Ashram, you could also share you're coming here after we can go through a few more people. But thank you. That's
what you said.
I said, after we go through a few more people, I would also love to hear how you came to the Reiferath Ashram and your experience.
Yeah, okay, maybe after
you
yeah,
take
okay.
a rest right now, because that's a lot that you just shared.
I'm just very moved. I don't know why, but I'm really very moved, yeah.
And how many weeks were we together traveling around the United States, and you never told me?
Yeah, we were so wonderful with you.
But you didn't tell me any of these stories. They're all new.
Yeah, it was so wonderful. It was so wonderful.
So wonderful to be with you.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you. And would you like to share now?
Huh?
No, I was asking.
No, I closed down the microphone so somebody else can do. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Gomi, is that your? I'm sorry. My retention for names is not great.
Urmila.
Yes.
Urmila. Okay. Tell us what you can share.
I am from, do you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, because I can't hear myself. So I am from Switzerland, and it was in '82 that I met Sundar Singh and a devotee, a woman called Kali Kalkati. I don't know if anybody is remembering her. She was a very eccentrical, very strange person, but by this she captured me very much. And she and also Sundar, they were telling me about Babaji. And I kind of was like something inside me was getting very much awake and very much kind of like alert. And I had the feeling, wow, this is incredible what I hear here. And I started to connect to Babaji, and also Sundar told me about the mantra, and I started to do this mantra. And then I had a series of dreams about Babaji, and one was very, very impressionating. It was like I was sleeping, and then suddenly I had the feeling to go to Herakan. Yeah, I saw the place. I went up the steps and I saw Babaji sitting in front of this. I have never been to Herakan at this time, but it was really absolutely authentical because I have been there later on. So I went up the stairs and I arrived where this little kitchen was, the first kitchen of Herakan, up in the ashram, and there was sitting Babaji, but I saw him from behind. He was sitting on the floor, just very simply. And suddenly he turned his head and looked towards me. And then I had the feeling that everything dissolved just in one big, incredible light, you know, and this light was so intense that I had the feeling which was a very realistic experience, to just be dissolved in light. And this light was on the one hand light, on the other hand very substantial. It was like I was dissolved in this substance. And this was so incredibly impressing to me that I thought, my God, this is really, you know, it was over everything I ever experienced before. And yeah, then I was just on my way to Babaji, and I was making some money in order to get to India. And yeah, then I was there. Yeah, so. And the experience in the ashram for me was very tiring and very, very intense. I had the feeling to have a lot of work to do from morning to evening, to be forced to center, to concentrate on the mantra, and to be very attentive with everything I do from morning time to evening time. I was, you know, I had to get up at 4 o'clock. I was starting with cleaning the temple, and I finished in the evening with cleaning the toilets, which was also a nice kind of change of experience, and watering the garden even at last. So yeah, it was a very intense experience of being cleaned through and through, I could say. Yeah, that's what I have to share so far.
And did Babaji give you your name?
No, Muniraji only.
Muniraji did.
Yeah.
And do you come to the ashram in Reiferath?
Yeah, I'm living in the ashram. I'm living in the same village. I'm living in
Okay,
Reiferath,
I don't where. What brought you to Reiferath then?
So, I have with my marriage, I have come to Reiferath. Thomas and I, we decided to go to Reiferath after we got married. And then I have been living here for more 10 years. We had a house of our own. And then we went to Eastern Germany for another 10 years. And then I came back after my divorce. So I'm all the time, really, I have lived in Reiferath.
And what do you have some specific duties there?
No, in the moment, not so. I made gardening last year, and I'm doing some cooking when many people are there. But I was also a member of a board from time to time. I'm changing, yeah. So now in this last time, the ashram was shut down, so I was not there. I had also the feeling that it's better to kind of withdraw for a moment and to stay on my own.
It's really lovely to meet you. I'm happy that you could be here. Yeah. Like I said, I don't know much about this place. Thank you. Anything else?
Yeah, I want to say it's a very special place and a very beautiful one, but the level of beauty is kind of inside. It's like, I feel it's rather hidden, you know. It's something you experience more or less in the air, in the kind of like a spiritual substance also, who has been growing in all these years. And the very big beauty is just underlying here in this place all the time. And on the other hand, on a social level, I think it's rather difficult to be here or to live here. There are a lot of, I think a lot of conflicts and a lot of different opinions who come together. And it's always been a challenge all these years, I think.
Baba certainly always teaches us, huh? For sure.
Yes.
These ashrams are very strong places
yeah.
where we to learn about.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, I think it's very
ourselves and others.
important. Yeah, I think it's very important to see that there are a lot of conflicts, also conflicts which cannot be so easily resolved or so that are continuing, but still just, I think just as a matter of fact, the fact that we relate to each other and kind of stay close is giving the gain, you know. I mean, before I always thought there are conflicts and they can be resolved in a way. But now I see there are conflicts and they stay or they cannot be really resolved. But on another level, we can still unite. You know what I mean? That is not the level of conflict who has to be resolved, but the continuity of engagement for a place, or the continuity of openness towards the divine, really, that is making the community working. You know what I mean? I don't know whether I express myself really well now. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, we have differences of opinions, and yet we also all have this deep devotion to Babaji and to trying to hear his word and guidance. Thank you.
Yeah. Welcome. Okay, so I mute myself now, okay?
Oh, okay. Thank you. And I was thinking that maybe, do you want to highlight a few more people from the organization, Sarah Dumbe?
I'm sorry?
They could, do you want to highlight or share a few other people from Reiferath that might want to say something?
Well, we have Govindi there.
Yeah, exactly.
Hi, Govindi.
Hi, Sarah Dumbe.
Hi. So Govindi is in the
turn.
board. She's not living in Reiferath, but she is part of the board, and she's doing a lot of work for this ashram. So maybe you want to say something, Govindi?
My goodness, Ole Baba. My English is not really good, but when you tell about why we came to Babaji to Munir, the first time when I heard the Om Namah Shivaya, I know I am at home. But that it was so, and so I think now I came to Reiferath 32 years, 35 years, I don't know, like this. And I like the place, I love the place, and I hope that Babaji will give us the power that the place can be longer for us. The place don't need us, we need the place. And the ashram, so. I don't know what I can tell more. My last 3 to India was all with Neelam. And it was a pleasure for me to be with Neelam 3 months in Shilianola and had my experience there. And so the experience from Neelam was, I don't know, my words, please, are the ground to be now in the board the last years, to have her Babaji, and she was more close than me to Muniraji, Babaji, and this when I had a question, Neelam said, "No, Govindi, all is okay. Please come down, and we can do this thing." And this was really, was heißt denn die Grundlage?
Foundation.
Foundation.
Yeah, that I am in the board from Reiferath. And also me, I am totally happy that we have Ishvashant Jari. This is for us really, really, oh mein Gott, wie sagt man denn solche Dinge? Das weiß ich immer nicht.
Sag's auf Deutsch, Govindi.
Auch eine Erleichterung, dass er da ist und einfach seinen Turn macht und alles wirklich, wirklich toll, man wird herzlich aufgenommen, alles gut.
It's so relieving for us that he's there and that he's basically the center holding all the energy up, and it's just relieving for us.
So, not more from me, please. But it's nice to see you all.
Thank you, Govindi, and your story is very beautiful. I think so many people, you know, there are different ways that Baba has touched them, and then they remain connected is beautiful. And I loved how you said, you know, we need the ashram.
Yeah.
That Baba has said, you know, build ashrams where people could go for spiritual nourishment. So these places are so helpful, and all the different stories, you know, even though we have different ideas and sometimes it's challenging, that we can just keep doing it day after day after day. And I think also for all of us that are doing it day after day after day, we realize in our heart the strength that is being generated inside of us, and the bliss and the connection to Babaji also. So it's beautiful. Thank you. And how many years did you say you've been at the ashram? How many years have you been involved with Reiferath, did you say? How many years?
I live 170 kilometers far from Reiferath, but I am 35 years. I go to Reiferath.
Wow.
So like this.
These places are.
I must count a little how old I am now, and like this. So.
Thank you.
And it's really, really, I think we don't know that how we need these places. So this is really for me. It's when some people are not so, ach Gott im Himmel, einverstanden, Sarah Dambe.
I don't know either.
Wenn manche Menschen nicht so einverstanden. Was?
They have not given their permission. They have not given their permission.
So we must see it from. So like Babaji said, ich bin gekommen, um zu geben. Seid ihr zu nehmen? Das sind wir oft nicht.
Yeah. Babaji said, I have come to give. Are you open to receive? And we often are not.
Yeah, thank you.
So, gut ist.
That's it.
Was?
Thank you. And if you feel for more, you just, come back in if something else comes up, okay? Thank you.
Also wenn dir noch etwas einfällt, dann schalte dich einfach wieder ein.
Mach ich. Danke.
Danke. I think I got that word. Moti, you want to share something? I don't see Moti now, but I'm sure you're there.
Yes.
Where's our Moti?
Yes.
Oh, there.
You see me?
Yeah, I can see. I need to get you.
Yes.
Not like, hi, Moti.
Yes. Hi. Yes, so a friend showed me a picture of Babaji and Mighty's book, and it made a big bang inside my heart, and I fell in love. And then I went after some months. And I was very young, 22, so I was not looking for a guru, so I had a bit of resistance the first weeks. I came together with Omila the first time in Sunda, and the main thing for me that he confused me so much that my mind broke down. So that was the biggest blessing he gave me directly. And then I spent a lot of time, like 2-3 years altogether with Muniaji. So I had a lot of time in Chianola and Hirakan. Yeah, and Reiferath, I'm in Berlin, so normally I go for a week once a year to Reiferath, and I mostly spend a week over New Year there, which is a nice time. Yeah, so yeah, and I just I like Reiferath very much. It's a very strong place, and like Omila said, there are some rough things going on between the people, not so much for me because I'm more a guest, yeah. But so I just wrote an article in German for the next Hereka news about Reiferath. That it's nice, but it's the article is about to have a welcoming culture for new people, because when I'm there, mostly I know all the people since 30-40 years, and there are not so much young people coming. So my focus or my wish for Reiferath is that also many young people would be invited to come, and then that would mean to get rid of some rules which are too limiting. And so that's what I wrote about, because I like this place so much, so I want to have young energy, not just us over 50, 60, 70-year-old. So that's my thing with Reiferath.
So you said in Herakan, you were actually there with Babaji or before?
Yes, I went there for 2-3 months in autumn '83.
And you, one of the things you said was he confused your mind so much that you couldn't,
yes.
Which was a blessing for you. Can you elaborate on that?
At first, I had everything was new. I was not looking for a guru. I was also a bit lazy, so I didn't like Karma Yoga at this time. So the energy was so strong there that I felt, and I loved his feet. I liked them always from the first moment. They were so strong, especially when he put the hand on my head like a sandwich. I liked very much, and I liked to sing, yeah, especially in the morning after Aarti on the terrace to sing together, and the morning goes on like for 1-2 hours. This was the most beautiful time of the day. I liked it very much. And then after some weeks, I felt, okay, it makes no sense to have any resistance. So I just okay, said, I open up, and then he started to play around. Before he just left me alone, and then he played, he threw me out and called me back and threw me out, like many people experience. So, and then always when I thought I understand something, the next day the opposite was right. So it was ding, ding, ding. And I remember I was, the last day I was sitting in the riverbed and my mind was just completely blank. And then I could go home. But at this time I didn't want to go home. I said, no, I never go home. I'm not crazy. Yeah, I will stay forever there.
And what does your name mean?
Yeah, but I had to go. It was time.
What does your name mean? And did Babaji give you that name?
No, at Babaji time I didn't want the name. So next time, 2 years later, I stayed 7 months in Chernola Hirakan, and then I said inside to Muniaji, okay, now I'm ready for a name, and then he chose a very strong moment to give it to me, and it means pearl.
Okay.
Yeah, which is nice. It took a year to really accept it. I wanted to have something more bombastic than just. But now I like it because it's a very beautiful symbol, and it's used in many spiritual ways. The pearl, yeah. So I like it very much now. Yeah, and I also like Taradamba. I also follow the diamond approach, which is also helping me to get deeper with Babaji, because the mind gets calmer and calmer, and all the inner things are clearing up. Yeah? So it's based in Berkeley. So so there's also good combination to do both, to get deeper with Babaji as well, because I feel Babaji is just black space, nothingness. Yeah. So it would be nice to meet him again, but in the end, it's just the basic energy of everything. That's what I found out about him. So that's nice not to be too attached to his form as well. So that's what I can say.
Thank you, Marty.
I think I would like to share something. I remembered my very first encounter with Babaji, actually. And that was that space Moti was talking about. It was during a singing lesson, before I knew anything about Babaji. And during the singing lesson, I suddenly was one with space, with the universe. It was just the universe. And when I looked down, I saw my form, and within this form was also the universe. And I understood that this form are the things I have to go through in this life. I am maybe allowed to clean up a little bit, more or less, to walk through, to understand. And then this constant message came in: I am you and you are me. I am you and you are me. And I remember this is the first time I actually met Babaji. This is Babaji for me.
Ramoti, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I would like to ask Neelam, what is her favorite story or experience with Babaji?
There's so many. And you know, it is so deep in my heart, I cannot communicate this only.
Nilam, Nilam, es gibt eine schöne Geschichte mit dir und Babaji über einen Sari, wo du gesagt hast, das geht nicht, dass ich den haben möchte.
Ja.
Babaji hat dir erlaubt, auszuwählen und du konntest das nicht so wirklich, weil du dich eigentlich kleiner gemacht hast, als du wolltest.
It's not our thing, was ich da.
That's not the main story, she said.
Okay, let's hear the main one.
Jetzt muss aber die Hauptgeschichte erzählen.
Or so many, you know, when I'm asked to speak about Babaji, it's so difficult because it's so much. So you know it.
Yeah, I do. But there will be a day when you're not here to tell us your stories. So please gift us with just one.
Yeah, but when I came to Babaji, I felt at home. Even because in the beginning, I said, oh my God, who is this man? Saraswati told me he knows all and he will change you. And I said, oh my God. So, and I said, okay, I go to Herakan because Babaji was telling Saraswati to, when she was writing me, she said to whom you are writing, she said to my sister, I said, you tell your sister to come. And Babaji was putting on the letter Om or sometimes a flower or so, and I was saying, we see when I came to Herakan, you know, all my doubts and what do you call it? They're gone, you know.
All the
I felt
doubts
at
were
home.
gone. Yeah.
I felt at home. And there's so many things. And on the way to go to Herakan, I had to go to the mountain for 6 hours, you know, from Advani to Herakan. And when I started to climb in the forest, I heard the birds singing Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. So I sit and I closed my eyes and I heard, and the Puli told me, you come quickly. Oh, there was so many things I cannot, it's too much to yeah.
Vielleicht, wir haben uns hier festgequatscht.
It was really, it was wonderful with Babaji. I had my experience, my difficulties, and so, but it was, yeah, I cannot speak.
Did he ever scold you or beat you?
Gayatri.
What?
Did he ever scold you or beat you?
Hat dich jemals ausgeschimpft oder dich gehauen?
Oh, yes. Yes, once I got a slap because Gora Devi told me the day before, oh, if Babaji will send me away, I will kill me. I will, so this I heard. And the next day, Babaji was shouting about Gora Devi, and she said, "You go home." And
Babaji said
to Gora, right? And it was very, very, very.
He was very hard. He was
very hard
yes.
to Gora Devi. And I said, "Oh my God, he doesn't do it." And then he was going with Gora Devi in her room, and I had to come. He said, "You come." And Gora Devi was kneeling before Babaji, and I was standing behind Gora Devi, and he said again, to Gora Devi, you have to go. And to me, he said, you pack her luggage. And I said, Babaji, I don't know. Oh, please, no, please don't send to our baby. And then he said, come. So and I was thinking, I take out my glass. So this is one of the simplest situations I thought.
Better be prepared.
So, and then it was okay. Then he told, Babaji told me, oh, you make this to Babaji. And I was many those things. Yeah.
Thank you.
Neelam, in
Yeah.
Neelam,
And another time with photos, this also with the suits that I got. He was sitting in the garden. And somebody came with this automatic camera, you know, where quickly the photo comes out. Polaroid. Yeah. And then he was telling to this lady, to this man, and to come, and they were sitting beside Babaji, and somebody took the photo, and then I was standing in the back, and I said, oh my God, I want also. And but I didn't get it. But after, when all was finished, somebody was taking a photograph of him, of Babaji, and then he called me and gave me the photograph, and it was so beautiful. And he said, oh, Babaji, oh, it's so beautiful. But I knew that this was just the time I learned to say, to be direct, you know. I was, instead of saying, oh, Babaji is beautiful, I could say, Babaji, thank you, and go, you know, because I was.
Hast ihn geschmeichelt oder was?
Nee, es war nicht direkt, was ich sagte. Ne? He didn't like to be all beautiful and now I have this photograph. No,
Schmeicheln.
Yeah. Take it and be happy. So I knew it. It's difficult for me to explain, but it was in a series of this kind of experiences I had to know.
And do you still have that Polaroid photo?
I have it, yeah. I have it in, yeah, with other photos with Babaji where I could sit beside him. Yeah, I have it. But very beautiful. Yeah.
Neelam, may I ask a question?
Yeah.
So in 1981, I was there with you that summer in Harakan.
Yeah.
And you and I were sitting in the Kirtan hall in the afternoon all by ourselves, or morning, I don't know why, maybe it was raining. Yeah, go ahead. And Babaji came behind us and he put this mala on me.
Yeah.
And he put a carnelian mala, I believe, on you. Do you remember that?
What did you ask?
Babaji put a mala on me and
he got that.
Just two of us. I was asking if she remembered and what she understood from that moment.
Achso, erinnerst du dich an den Moment? Was hast du da verstanden? Warum hat das?
No, I don't remember.
Oh, okay. One of many.
Aber du erinnerst dich an den Moment?
I remember that he gave me this mallet. This was the, I don't know.
Rote.
Yeah, brownish red.
Brown red.
Yeah. I had it for a long time, and then one day I was in Haldwan in the hotel, and I put the mala on the door, you know, to take my bath, my shower, and I forgot it. So, it's gone. Yeah. But I remember you in this moment, yeah.
And you wanted to know why you got this and she got that mala.
Well, or just if she remembers. For me, it was just letting me know that when I was doing just my meditation and my mantra, without any desire. Babaji was there fulfilling all my desires, which of course, to have a mala that Babaji gave me was a very big thing in my heart. And yet it was.
Für sie war der Grund, warum sie da diese Male bekommen haben, dass sie, wenn sie etwas ohne wollen, dass sie dann das bekommen, dass sie dann Dinge bekommen, die sie erfüllt werden. Und das war ihr tiefster Wunsch, eigentlich die Maler zu bekommen. Wenn sie also das Mantra macht, ohne jetzt das Desire. Nee, da hast du das nicht gefragt. Genau. Yeah. Yes, but I don't know in which mind I was in this moment. This I don't remember. Yeah. But it's true. If we wanted to have something that never happened. Has to be. Yeah. It just comes when you're not desiring it.
So, Ramlati, could I ask a question?
Yes, Loknath wants to ask a question too.
So I first say just deep pranams and much gratitude for everybody. It's just like we get to be each other's teachers now, and beautiful to see you. So this is really Saradambe and Moti. I love how both of you connect a bit of your experience with this diamond approach, and I also actually hear it in Rambrosi. In her experience of the mantra being in her body day and night for 3 days. What a beautiful kind of embodiment of that diamond presence. So I'm interested in maybe Sarah Dumbe and you and Moti sharing a bit about how this diamond approach lands for you really in your daily practice. I know, Sarah Dumbe, you have a wonderful Duni now that you have built.
Yeah.
And,
no, I didn't build it.
Well, but you did it spiritually and you practiced there. So yeah, I wonder if there's any experience of that diamond presence that you'd want to share, and maybe part of the reason I asked that question is that I think in the end, Huracan is the presence of that diamond reality. We have so much stuff coming up in us, but there is the substance of Huracan that is so already and always present acceptance and beauty and silence. And it's we're kind of invited to carry our shit into that space and let the space dissolve it for us. And I didn't understand that at the time, but it's certainly, I think it's certainly a part of how we're called. And so I'm interested just, what you might be experiencing in your Duni and what Moti might be experiencing on, more day to day. If you want to reflect on that. Yeah.
Is Moti still there?
Yeah, he's there someplace.
Yes, I'm there. Okay. Yeah, for me, this is a diamond approach. It clears up all the psychological issues we have, which is somehow a hindrance, a barrier in the past sometimes. So it's a lot about meditation, but also to clear up all the stuff like superego and so on. And then after a while, the main thing is to radical acceptance. So to accept everything, if you like it or not, 100%. That's the main thing. And I liked it very much, this, because I didn't want to improve myself anymore. I just wanted to accept everything, if I like it or not. So that's the way to get into presence. So it's all about presence. And so my longing, my path is really only just to get more present, and then the dimensions open, and there's not just peace, there's much more than peace. It's complete emptiness and darkness and all different kinds of boundless dimensions which open up then. And yeah, and I once I had a friend, he also saw Babaji and follows Diamond Approach. And so what we do is called inquiry. So one person is talking, the other one is listening, and then other way around. And so we were inquiring, what is Babaji for us now? And it was really fantastic inquiry, because for me, I found out, yeah, it's different energy from Muniraji. Muniraji was more human, but this was just, at this time, some years ago, it was just huge black energy, nothing. And I felt, wow, yeah, that's really the base of the whole creation, Babaji, or it's not a person. That's what I found out when I was inquiring, what is Babaji? How does it feel inside in me today, now? So in this way, it deepens my experience with Babaji. And Babaji is a lot of bhakti and joy, which it's not so much in a Diamond Approach, and there's really inquiring inside a lot, and to clear up all these inner issues, so this goes really well. Hamid, the teacher there, she said, you can be enlightened, but still have all these psychological issues. Yeah? So it can be both at the same time. Yeah? You can be completely one with everything, but you still have to clear up your psychological issues. For me, this was good to hear, because I thought, okay, if you're enlightened, then your psychological issues are gone anyway. Yeah? But seems not to be like it. It's a constant work forever to get deeper and deeper with yourself and into boundless dimensions.
Bravo.
Thank you.
The truth.
Where did Rambarosi go? Ramloti?
Huh?
Can you highlight Rambarosi? I'm going to ask her a question too.
Well, let's finish with Sarah Dumbe so she can respond to Luke a little bit more, and then we'll go to Rambarosi. But I wanted to say what you were saying, Moti Singh, about, accepting all is like what Neelam said, is no resistance, it's like, that's beautiful. Go ahead, Sarah Dumbe, and then we'll go back to Rambarosi too.
Yeah, it is as Neelam said, there are so many different experiences and stories. It became, in my inner world, it became one great school. And I experienced at one point Babaji as the headmaster, and teachers like, and Babaji the headmaster, and then there's also Divine Mother. Somehow in my human mind, I have to understand. I try to, okay, there's Divine Mother and there's Babaji the headmaster, and Muniraji is my class teacher, the class teacher, and then there is Almas, and then there are all the other teachers that have helped me on my way to understand deeper and deeper, and to widen more and more around the issues that I have, the structure that is within me, where I still believe, Diamond Heart or not, Om Namah Shivaya or not, where I still sometimes get trapped into. And then there are experiences of vast consciousness, and boundless, endless consciousness. And as I said before, my first experience with Babaji was this universal experience. And as I also said before, I had I had at one point many years ago, I experienced a trauma, and Babaji led me through healing steps in this trauma, and one of the absolute greatest, I think the culmination of this healing path for this special experience I had was an experience of Diamond Heart, where we learned to look hatred into the eye. So so with the partner, we sat down. Every person had a partner, and we sat down and looked into all the small or big hatred experiences we had in our life. And before that, we were taught over a week about hatred. Hatred, as in the Diamond Heart, you say, you know, the unerlöst. Was heißt unerlöst? Moti. Unresolved? No. Unerlöst? Unresolved. The most unresolved state of hatred, for example, of one energy is, in this sense, it's hatred, and Diamond Heart is working with colors, so hatred is black. It's a black color, and the most enlightened state of hatred is actually the absolute divine stillness, absolute power, but the power that is pure love, the power that is pure love, and that is the whole range of the black, the possibility of the black. I never liked the color black in my life before, but in this first experience with Babaji, the universe is black, and then I went through into the school, being schooled by so many teachers, by Babaji, and with all his teachers that he sent into my life to train me. And in this moment, when I looked this experience, when I sat with my partner and I looked the experience I had, which was a group rape, I looked this experience into its eye. I was immediately transported again into the universe and resolved in an endless black space. And I saw, I experienced this stillness and power, and which for me is Babaji. And I saw in this moment, I could bow to this moment where I experienced that rape. I bowed to this moment because I understood this moment was the moment, and I'm very humble to say this because you cannot talk easily. There were many steps necessary, and I understood this as a motor throughout my life, pushing me forward to go deeper and deeper, to understand more and more. And Diamond Heart was one of the tools that were given to me to understand, and not understand with my mind, to understand with my cells, to understand in myself, to widen myself into this beauty of power and love and stillness. Mm-hmm. And at the other end was that experience. And so Diamond Heart is one of the teachers that I had. And again, I fall into, I fall back into, I experience it as, you know, the country of the widened state, the knowingness, which is also rooted. But again and again, sometimes, you know, in daily life, you just become foggy. And so my past, I understand. You asked me about the Duni. The Duni in my garden is called Prem Dhyan, which is meditation about love. And Muni Raji initiated it. And so I'm doing Fridays. I'm doing my Havan there. And the Duni here in the ashram, sometimes I'm allowed to do fire ceremony there, and I just find that these rituals, and I'm not a ritual person. I'm not really a ritual person. I'm more California style. But I experience the rituals build up an energy field in which you can connect with these not forces, but with these experiences. These experiences can actually touch you, and you can connect with them much more easily than when you are in the world and dealing with all the ideas and mind structures and all the emotional vibration and waves that are being thrown at you. So somehow the rituals, they build up strength within you, and I'm struggling with that. I'm struggling to be, to do my stuff regularly, like she does. She is really good. The old Germans are really good with that. I'm not so good with that, but I try, and I understand that these rituals really hold up and create. I think here in Reiferath, in 40-something years, there was only one interruption of RT or something like this in 40-something years. And you can feel this field. And I'm very blessed. My house is direct next to it. But at the same time, like Urmila said, it is very challenging for the people who come new into this space, because it really brings up stuff. You have no choice, but the energy field is so strong. When I flew in from California, these years I flew back and forth. When I flew in, I always had, and when I already had bought the house. So for, I don't know, for 5 years or so, I flew sometimes into Germany to deal with the house. I felt like there are some layers of Mahamaya less. And so, whoosh, the things come just stronger through. And it's very good to know some tools like Diamond Heart or whatever. It's not breathwork is a wonderful tool, or whatever your path is. In addition to have some tools that help you to deal with your own inner demons and whatever, little forces that are gambling around there. Yeah.
Oh, Bodhi Baba Kiche, thank you so much. So if I could just, I know that Gayatri had something, but I would just kind of like to add a story that speaks to both Moti and Saradambe, and then to ask a question. So I like Moti was always struggling with this question, well, who is Babaji? And it was like, you couldn't ever figure it out. And one day, sitting over in front of the Mother Temple, I was on my way to my bath in the afternoon, and I sat in front of Babaji, pranammed, and then looked for some time right into his eyes, a bit with that question, it's like, who are you? Who's there? Because you couldn't actually quite figure out if there was anybody there. And then I had this very clear experience of this, what Moti talks about is this dark space. It was like there was only the universe in his eyes. And the only thing I could do was sense the infinite spaciousness of eternity in his eyes. And so in that experience, you said, now you stop wearing your glasses. So when I went to Huracan, I had, I was always fussing around with glasses. You said, you stop wearing your glasses now. And it was like on that day at the bath, I took off my glasses and never wore glasses again at Huracan. And it was such a wonder. I mean, I certainly didn't get it at the time. But now as I reflect back on it, it is, however we name the tool, it is this inner-directed sight without seeing, or seeing without sight, and hearing without hearing. When we connect with that spacious space that you so eloquently talk about, Sarah Dambe, my beloved sister, thank you. So anyway, that's just a wonderful story I carry that speaks to that space a bit. But I've always kind of held the idea or the sense that if you all at Reiferath ask yourself the question, what are we together called to be doing? It seems to me that having a sense, so at least, I mean, there are actually three of you, because I know that that Urmila also works in a space. What about, just you asked the question, how are we called to maybe share this tool and these tools and the deep embodied experience that Babaji gives us of that space? What has brought us here in Reiferath together that we can share with young people, and the traumatization that young people and the whole, I mean, Germany still carries all this trauma from the Second World War, but even more, more to the point now, we have COVID trauma. But so do you hear that kind of rough question? This is like, how are we called together maybe to use this tool to share with others to help heal the trauma that's being carried so deeply in young people, often unconsciously? But the jewel that is Reiferath, as you so eloquently talk about, is in some ways that. Anyway, Holy Waki Jay, so wonderful to see you.
Today. I think.
May I say something?
Yeah, and then we do want to get to Gayatri's question also for Rombrosi, but go ahead, sweetheart.
Okay.
No, if you want to add right now, I'm going to put you there.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I just want to suggest that also maybe one other person who has done very much seva in the ashram will just have her say. And I wanted to ask you whether you could also just Durga, so if she could also contribute something to, I would love to hear her say also. That's what I just want to,
Yes, me too. Durga has also to be addressed after the question to Rambarosi.
Okay.
No, let's go first with Durga. Let's go first.
Okay, help me find. Yeah, I need to highlight. Durga, raise your hand so I can find you. Oh, good. I'm sorry, because there's Durga right down there. There's 20 little squares here in my 72 eyeballs. Your eyeballs are not good. Hi, Durga. Thank you.
Hi, Durga.
You need to unmute. Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello. Lovely to see you all. Really.
Can I just very shortly, sorry, Nilam has to go because she has to give medicine to Saraswati, so she wants to say goodbye.
And to make goodbye. Nice to see you all, and my love to you all.
So much love to you.
And Sarah Dunbar, there was a request that maybe Elam could some point record some of these in German, because there's many German-speaking people. If she could record some of her, and you can do that separately at another time, okay? Perhaps, if she's willing. Thank you. Go ahead, Durga. Tell us about you.
Hello.
And your journey.
Sorry?
Tell us about you and your journey.
Yeah. Well, yes, I'm born in a family. So my mother is a devotee of Babaji. And that was in 1983, she heard the first time of Babaji. And I was born in 1979, so I was about 4 years. And I guess so we started then to travel to ashrams in Europe and mostly Schwalbenalb, but also Reiferath. And and to join the big gatherings when Muniraji and Shastraji came to the ashrams and traveled around, we joined them. So we joined to visit the ashram. And my first time in Herakan was 86. I was 6 years old. And I played in the Ganga, and I just loved it. I really loved it. And before that, we were already, many times we were visiting Sri Lanka, and my mother had a guru there. So we went there for the winter time, and then we stayed there like 2 or 3 months. And that was also a very nice time. And we were traveling a lot. We were visiting India every year. And this went on until I was about 12. And then my mother built a house near Reiferath. But we originally stayed in Munich. So she were traveling all the 600 kilometers from Reiferath to Munich and back and forth and all the time. And so I stayed in Munich while she were living next to Reiferath. And then I got a son 18 years ago now. And when he was 2 years old, we moved to a small town near to Reiferath. And since then I was visiting Reiferath regularly. And now it's my family, of course. Yes, and I mean, ever since, for me, God was Shiva, and Shiva is Babaji. So there are, of course, also many stories, but difficult to tell just one out of many. Maybe you have more questions to make it more easy.
What's in your heart that makes you move out to serve here in Reiferath? And just touch that.
Sorry, that was
we're talking about a lot. There's been a lot about this space in our heart. So what is it in your heart that makes you want to be in Reiferath and serve like you are?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just about deepening the connection to Babaji, which is surely happening through this. And I mean, actually, there's nothing you can give. It's just you're receiving more and more. You always receive more than you get to be able to give. Yeah. It was saving my life. Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's really a view. If you really devote yourself, it makes tremendous transformation possible. It's there's no words. Yeah.
Yeah, your tears speak volumes. Durga. So thank you. Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing those with us.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, no.
But I
It is
really
our
think,
blessing.
I mean, this is the best you can do is really offer everything and devote yourself to him. Every little problem, every big problem, just everything. And it's not necessary to have any solutions. It's all his grace, and it's really amazing to have him as a guru. I mean, I never met him in presence, so I just, yeah, as I told, I visited Herakan in '86, so he wasn't there anymore. But anyway, my whole life, there were so many situations where I had some kind of visions, or I mean, it's naturally as a human that you have questions and doubts and strong feelings, hard to handle, and I always dedicated them to Babaji because yeah, I mean, I guess it's really normal when you're a child, you talk to God. And for me, God was Shiva or Babaji, which is quite similar or the same. And yeah, I mean, he can answer. He gives you certain feelings. He gives you the knowledge inside of you, what's the right thing to do, or what could be the path. Or he just changes situations. He brings people or situations into your life which are changing, and it's a big grace. I mean, it's you all know that, of course. If you're like some years with him, you really you know about this. And yeah, that's all I can say.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Durga, for sharing your lovely heart with us.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Thank you. I'm so
Yeah, I would love to acknowledge you, Durga. You come many times to Holland, also the ashram, and it's so lovely. You have such a beautiful, loving presence. And if I see you for a few days in Holland, also I see you blossoming, opening up, really have a very loving presence that you give to everybody who's around in the ashram. You really have an incredible gift of just shining your femininity and your love when you do nothing. You just quietly move through the ashram. I see you make no trouble when you're around. I really acknowledge that's a very beautiful quality, to just move through an ashram without making problem, but just, I acknowledge your loving presence. And now you show it very vulnerable. But I always, when you come to Holland, my heart is so happy to see you. We don't speak much, but you know what I mean. It is, we have that connection. I'm very thankful that you express yourself.
Yeah. And speaking of young people, she's also one of these young people who carry such inspiration for all of us. So I'm really touched with the wisdom and the depth. Thank you.
So I'm going to, if I may, this is a bit rude. I've got another call I've got to be on in a few minutes, but I just am so thankful for this time with you, and it's I guess it would, you know, Rambroshi, the sense of yeah, what about this joy that comes up in us when we sit with each other? It's surprising. And Rambroshi says, I didn't expect this, and but it's always with us. So what a blessing. Thank you. And Govindi, you give my love and all of our pranams to Kushalji, and much love to everybody. Mukundi, I didn't get to say hi. Much love in the French suit of an ashram. Yeah, dear process. So yeah, you excuse me, but Ramloti, thanks for doing us.
Baba Ki Jai. Hey, Gayatri, we have a Rambrosi is here. She's called Galaxy A7.
Rambarosi, you're going to have to unmute again, babe. First of all, I would like to acknowledge this beautiful Babaji sister for all her karma yoga, not just in Italy, Cisternino, but also the year she spent in Baca, in Crestone, Colorado, helping build the Earthship in the river every morning. Oh my God. So anyway, this is one tough cookie, and she's just an awesome Babaji sister. And I would like to ask you, Rambarosi, what is your, well, not maybe favorite, it could be favorite story with Babaji, or it could be a big lesson you learned with him, but I know you have many stories. When we were there together, I think you were becoming a yogini with Jay Davy. I remember you guys as kind of saintly. So I just would love to hear some of your stories with Baba.
Okay.
You're still muted, sweetheart. You need to unmute, Rambrosi. Can you unmute?
Unmute.
I'm just going to.
We don't hear you.
There you go. She's just learning. I'm so impressed. You are still muted. Wish I knew how. There
now, you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. A story of Babaji, difficult to just. I can tell you one thing which was really, it's a little bit delicate, but I think we are a group of devotees, so we can maybe do. When I was the first time in Huracan, Karku told me about the stories which he was playing with the women. And I knew immediately that this would be something I had to go in or to have some experience or whatever. And I was not very happy about this idea. And when I was in Huracan, at a certain point, he started to call me all the time, and he had to go with him and everywhere. And he started to be seductive. So to start to be really like a lover who wants to seduce me. And it was just a very strange Leela, and I didn't like it, and I was desperate, and I hide myself to not be able to go to him, and he always called me up, and I had to go here, and I had to go with him, and it was just like I was desperate. I didn't know what to do. I didn't like it, but somehow I couldn't escape. So in a certain moment, I talked to a Swiss lady, which was a long time already in Huracan, Surya, what I could do. And she told me, she said, you know, he's a mirror. If you have this story with him, you just have to look inside and to look what you have to do with this all. So you have to clean up yourself. And I was a newcomer. I didn't know nothing about the meditation. I just was like blank in these things. And anyway, I understood that's something I have to do. So one afternoon, I went down to the river, and I said, okay, I just try to clear me up. I don't know how to do and in what way, but I try. And I sit down and I close my eyes because I know you have to close your eyes to go to inside and so on. I tried. And I sit there for quite a while. And then there was a moment, and I think he was doing this in the end. There was a moment, it was like popping up the idea, I don't want to have him like a man. I want that he bring me to God. I want that he brings me to God. And it was like absolutely clear, and there was no discussion around. It was just like one thought, this I want from him. And it was, I was astounded myself, but it was just absolutely clear. And so I stood up and I took some flowers around and I made a little flower, how you say, I took these flowers and I went up for darshan in the afternoon. And he was sitting in the garden like every day in the afternoon. And I went to him and I made pranam and I laid down the flowers and I just was open. And he looked at me and he was very nice. And I sit down and he was sweet, utmost sweet, but there was nothing anymore of this seductive story. It was just like finished completely. He was nice, he was sweet, whatever, but he was very, very pure. And so from this moment, there was no story anymore. And I realized that he's really a mirror, that there was nothing from his side, from his side to me, but it was all me who had created this story. And from this moment, I mean, it was a clear relationship and there was nothing anymore in this way. So this for me was very, very important. So this is one of my stories of poetry.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Someone else have a question for Annie?
Yeah.
Rambrosi or? Go ahead, Rambrosi, if you have some more to say.
No, it's okay. For me, it's okay like this.
So anyone have a question?
It's not really a question, Ramaluti, but I would love to just bring out a little more of the lovely thing that Neelam said at the very beginning, kind of about resistance.
About?
And how she so effortlessly talked about having energy because she didn't have any resistance. And to me, that has always been a fundamental part of our Om Namah Shivaya. You know, it's really the mantra of perseverance and letting go and not having resistance. And today has been such a lovely conversation of the heart and diamonds and hearts and finding new family or refinding new family and seeing old family that our faces have changed a bit and really wonderful sharing and resistance is just such a waste of energy. You know, we can spend so much time in resistance that we thwart our innermost part of our being. And so just lovely to hear that voiced and really love to just share with all of you.
Thank you, Hiraman. Does somebody else have a question or just something they want to share? It's too short of a time to all be together. I'm feeling like 1.5, 2 hours is not very long, but it's wonderful.
Timeless. It's a timeless time.
It is a timeless. It started Lok referred to that, how maybe surprising it's been for us to get on this artificial thing called Zoom and a computer and feel so much heart space that more and more people keep coming, and it's just the rest of my day is just like expanded, shall we say. I never planned to do anything in the afternoon after satsang, except
I have a little addition to that, Ramlot and Hiraman, about the Germans. I have this beautiful story that I heard that Babaji was in the company bar with a German lady. I never found out who it was, but it is a German lady was given with a big bucket water to very little plants that were just planted. So there were many little flower plants in the company bar, and Babaji was walking there, and this lady, German precision, she was giving water plant by plant, little by little. And Baba walked up to her and he took the bucket and he poured this whole bucket on this one little flower, just like 10, 15 liters of water on this little flower. And he looked her in the eyes and said, "You have to give all, understand? You have to give all." That was a very strong message, also like no resistance. That's why it comes up to me from, it's like we have to be willing to give everything to God. Now, if we think we can keep something to me or myself, we're blocking him. So that flow, what we speak about, is really happening when we are really ready to let go all the me and mine and just give everything to him, all our love, all our money. There is no me. That bucket story is so beautiful. Like, this plant may have been overwhelmed, of course, but one bucket is now going, even in satsang, it's becoming a teaching for everybody. For me, it has been such a strong mantra. Just give everything. No, don't hold back. What is the hold back for? What? Just give all. A beautiful story, but it was with a German lady, but I don't remember with who. But I'm happy I can share it.
Thank you.
Like so many of Babaji's teachings, there's so many layers to that. You can get a teaching from Babaji and it just steeps in you for 50 years, and then you understand more layers of it all the time. I think we've all had that bucket one time or another.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
And I want to add something, because it's also like he could say something also to just send your mind in a spin until you get so tired of spinning that you like give up. A couple of times it happened. He did things that I was like, why is he doing that? Why? That was the big, we're conditioned to always think there's a reason for things. And one day he asked how old I was, and I said 27, and he said 29. And I said, no, Babaji, actually, I'm 27. 29. Never have I understood 29. Never. And at a certain point, I just stopped. I went to Harakan 29 years after Samadhi because I thought, oh, it's a sign. It's when he's coming back. I do 29 on everything, but it doesn't turn out to be really anything. But maybe someday I'll understand. But also, in Chandan in the morning, he used to pinch my nipples and it hurt. And I had no understanding of that. I was like, does it mean I should wear a bra? Should I, you won't believe how my mind spun on that. And finally, one day I just said, maybe there's no reason why. Maybe the teaching is to stop looking for a reason. And from that day on, he never did it again. Mm-hmm. So I really stopped. I really thought the teaching was to try to stop understanding everything and giving everything a meaning. It just is happening in the moment. It doesn't mean anything. And that was, for me, a huge, huge teaching, because we are so used to looking for the whys of everything. And there is no why. It just is. So that was you know, there was times when his teachings had, like Hiraman says, you know, like onion layers that you can just keep peeling until you find yourself. But there were other times when it was just for no reason, you know. So talk about Moti being confused. I can understand. It was the most confusing situation I've ever encountered. Yeah.
Thank you. Reminds me of a time when Babaji would keep asking me, "You old?" I was 31 years old, you know, and I would go, "Well, I'm 30." And he said, "You old?" And I go, "Well, not very old, sort of. I don't know what to, it's the same thing." And he just kept, "You old?" And finally he said, "You very, very old." Here we go.
Our past life.
Who knows? So
I just have to, I'm sorry, I have to interrupt, but the puja is starting.
Yes.
So I just want to say goodbye. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ramloti, for initiating that. It just has been wonderful, really wonderful. And I met so many people. Some of you I know, some I don't. So it's just thank you.
And so the same time next week, where you'll get to meet a lot of the people that were involved in establishing this ashram. So if anyone can get on for, even if you have to get off early for puja or whatever in your time zone, it's all okay, but it's a wealth of time, and you can see that one person tells a story, the next one remembers a story, you know, things you haven't thought about. So please, everyone is invited to join next week at the same time. And thank you to everybody.
Yeah.
So wonderful to meet. And Sarah Dumbe, thank you for helping to organize this so beautifully. So wonderful to meet more of our German brothers and sisters.
Yeah. I just show you.
Oh.
Come and visit German Ashram. It's very beautiful there.
Yes, next chance, I'll be there. And same with you, so thank you.
That would be really lovely. Goodbye. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
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 See you next week.
Ciao.
Ciao.